All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are going to tackle one of the most controversial parts of our diet, carbohydrates. They get demonized, they get debated, but they're also absolutely essential. So we're going to cut through all that noise and get right down to what they are and what they really do for us.
Carbohydrates. They're the energy source we all seem to love to hate, right? It feels like everyone has a strong opinion. For some, they're the ultimate comfort food. For others, public enemy number one. But what does the science actually say? Let's get a clear, straightforward picture of what's going on with this nutrient. Okay, so to really get this, we've got to start at the very beginning, the fundamentals. Chemically speaking, what is a carbohydrate? Well, it's just a compound made of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. That's it. It's not some villain cooked up in a lab. It's one of the basic building blocks of life, with a really specific and kind of elegant chemical structure.
Right. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because not all carbs are created equal, not by a long shot. I think the best way to wrap your head around them is to think of it like a family tree. It all starts with these single, really simple little units that then link up to build much, much bigger and more complex structures.
So check this out. This really breaks down that family tree perfectly. At the bottom, you've got the single units, the monosaccharides. Just think of them as individual Lego bricks. The most famous one is glucose. And trust me, we're going to be talking a lot more about glucose in a minute. Now, when you snap two of those bricks together, you get a disaccharide. A perfect example? Good old table sugar, sucrose. And then, when you start linking hundreds or even thousands of these bricks together, you build the real giants of the carb family, the polysaccharides. So let's meet these polysaccharide giants, because you're eating them all the time. First up, you've got starch. This is just how plants store their energy for later. It's packed into things like potatoes and bread and rice. Super easy for us to break down for fuel. Then there's cellulose. This stuff gives plants their structure, kind of like the walls of a house. We know it as dietary fiber. And here's the thing. Our bodies can't actually break it down for energy, but it is absolutely crucial for digestion. And finally, there's glycogen. Now this one's personal, because this is how we store carbohydrate energy for a rainy day. Yeah, think of glycogen as your body's own internal rechargeable battery pack. It's tucked away right in your liver and your muscles, just waiting. It's ready to release a quick burst of energy whenever you need it, whether you're, sprinting for a bus or even just thinking really hard. Okay, so we've got a handle on what they are and how they're built. But how does your body actually take, say, a potato or a piece of fruit and turn it into usable fuel? Well, that brings us to the engine room of the body, metabolism.
You hear the word metabolism thrown around all the time. But what is it, really? It's just a catch-all term for every single chemical reaction happening inside you right this second, just to keep you alive. It's this constant, bustling chemical factory, and it's got two main divisions of labor.
So think of it like this. On one side, you have the building up crew. These are the anabolic reactions, and they build complex stuff from simple parts, but that takes energy. On the other side, you've got the breaking down crew. These are catabolic reactions, and they smash large molecules into smaller ones, and that is what releases energy. So when you eat carbs, what you're really doing is giving your body the signal to get ready for a major breakdown process.
And here is the absolute crucial point. It doesn't matter what kind of carbohydrate you eat. It could be a simple sugar, it could be a super complex starch from a vegetable. Your body's end goal is always the same. Break it all down into one very specific, incredibly useful molecule.
And that's really the big secret here. When we talk about carbohydrate metabolism, what we're really talking about is the metabolism of glucose. That's it. It's the universal energy currency for our cells. Everything, absolutely everything, gets converted into glucose.
Okay, so carbs become glucose, and our bodies use that glucose for energy. Simple enough, right? But so what? Why is that so important? Can't we just get energy from somewhere else? Well, let's take a look at the non-negotiable can't live without 'em roles that carbohydrates play.
Yeah, their job description is pretty extensive. They're wearing a lot of hats here. They're our number one source of energy. They actually help form parts of our genetic material, our DNA. They're literally woven into the fabric of our cells and tissues. And of course, they provide that all-important dietary fiber to keep our digestion running smoothly. So yeah, carbs are definitely not a one-trick pony. But among all of those vital jobs, there is one function that stands above all the others. It is absolutely, fundamentally, life or death critical. It's a job that no other nutrient can do in quite the same way.
100%. Just let that sink in for a second. What in our body could possibly be 100% dependent on carbohydrates for its fuel?
Your brain. It's your brain. See, unlike your muscles, which are pretty flexible and can use other fuel sources like fat, your brain is a glucose specialist. It is a picky eater. It runs exclusively on glucose. It is totally 100% dependent on a steady supply of it just to function. And that's why getting enough carbs isn't just about physical energy. It's about mental clarity, focus, everything.
All right, so let's tie this all together. When you look at everything we've just covered, from the simple chemical definition to that incredibly complex job description, there's one single clear thread that runs through the entire story of carbohydrates.
It all comes back to glucose. From the simplest sugar to the most complex chain, the whole story of carbohydrate metabolism is about one thing: getting, storing, and using glucose. It's what powers our bodies, and most critically, it's what powers our brains. Glucose is the hero of this entire metabolic story.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating question, doesn't it? If the science is this clear, if carbs are the body's essential, non-negotiable fuel, especially for our brains, then why has our relationship with them become so incredibly complicated?